alcohol evaluation were ordered. The state's understanding that those were completed and provided to the court, and that all parties were prepared to go to sentencing at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, Bob, would you go check if, I don't think I was still in it, but I'm locked out of this thing.
I'll do it.
All right, Ms. Novotny?
Your Honor, at this time, we would ask the court to consider community control for Mr. New with regard to his incident matter in front of you today. Ultimately, after talking with Mr. New for series of times, he believes that him being arrested has been a blessing in disguise for him and him for achieving any type of sobriety with regard to his addiction. Your Honor, he voluntarily committed himself to the Lutheran Hospital in June, knowing that he needed help and needed treatment with regard to what he was doing with his life and his addiction was taking it over. Ultimately, he was transferred from the Lutheran Hospital to the Ed Keating Center, where he was up until he was arrested. With that regard, he has letters from the Ed Keating Center and his mental health facility that he was getting help with mental health counseling and medication compliance, Rivian. Both have stated that he has been very dedicated to his sobriety and commitment to the program in both programs. Ultimately, I was able to submit a letter to the court from the Ed Keating Center, from the director, Martin Taft, that they were willing to have him back to the facility if the court does desire to do that, as well as Rivian Health kind of explaining the situation when they first obtained Mr. New as a client with regard to the marijuana use, that he was high with regard to when he first started and the levels proceeding to his most recent levels that they obtained. That letter also demonstrated that Corbin was in substantial progress, that ultimately he has a commitment to the program, steady progress towards sobriety, and an active participant, which demonstrated a strong, promising recovery trajectory. Mr. New would like the court to consider that, would like to go back to the Ed Keating Center, would like to continue with his mental health counseling with Rivian with that respect. I know with talking with Mr. New's father, he notices a difference in Corbin with respect to when he entered the Keating Center and when he last saw him with regard to that. Your Honor, he was also, just for background, in the Marine Corps from 2011 to 2012. Believes that the Ed Keating Center has kind of demonstrated that kind of background with him, with the strict rules, ultimately with regard to what he needs to do with chores, what he needs to do with sobriety, what he needs to do with work, and he kind of seems to be gathering and ultimately taking advantage of that structure with regard to that, in kind of comparison with regard to the Marine Corps when he was in. Your Honor, we're just asking for any leniency with regard to his matter in front of you today. We'd ask the court to consider him for community control, to have him return to the Ed Keating Center and Rivian with that respect. Thank you.
Why didn't you stop when the police officer was behind you?
At first I didn't realize he was pulling me over. I was a little nervous.
What did you think he was doing when the lights and sirens were on?
Well, when he was in front of me, coming past me, he had passed me, and at that point I thought I was in the clear. Like I said, at the same time I was nervous. I had just come to from being passed out at the wheel. I made a terrible decision to...
I know you made a terrible decision. The question was why you did it.
I guess I was scared. I didn't want to go to jail.
Scared of what?
Going to jail.
So where did you think you were going to get to?
I mean, I really didn't think I was going to get anywhere. That's why I pulled over before they were on the same street behind me.
What's with the marijuana positive screen when you're in Keating?
I've been a habitual weed smoker for 4 years. I've smoked THC oils mostly, dabs and vape pens. I'm sure it had built up in my system. I don't think it had worked its way out of my system by the time I had gotten there.
Is that your expert medical opinion or your bullshit opinion? Which is it?
I mean,
Okay.
I'm not
What
an
did you
expert.
use from the time you went to Lutheran till the last time you tested positive?
I hadn't used anything from the time I
Nothing?
went to Lutheran to,
Nothing.
If I was using, my levels wouldn't have been going down, they'd have been either.
All right, I'm not the least bit interested in your medical opinion about levels of marijuana, okay? Question is, what were you using from the time you went to Lutheran until the last time you tested positive?
I hadn't used anything, Your Honor.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Did you have a conversation with your father about using certain things during that time?
I don't understand I hadn't used
The question that I asked you was, did you have a conversation with your father about using other things between the time you got out of Lutheran and the time that you tested positive last?
I don't believe so, no.
You don't believe? Well, that's either a yes or a no.
No, we didn't talk about using anything.
Ms. Wehagen?
After the pre-sentence interview, while the defendant was awaiting a deputy coming to take him down to the jail, I did hear him on the phone with his father speaking about how he had not used marijuana, but perhaps they used a different sort of related product. Is what I believe I heard.
Okay. Yes, no, maybe?
No, that's not what
No?
I said at all, Your Honor.
I don't know why she comes in here telling me lies.
My father's here, we can ask
Okay,
him.
yeah, we can do anything we want, okay? I'm talking to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, you say that you stopped using heroin when you went to prison, is that right?
I had, yes.
Okay. Which was when?
2016,
And you got out when?
2019,
And you started to use again when?
2021.
Now why did you do that?
I was weak. I thought I could use it once and get off it and not.
When you used it, when you stopped using in 2016, how long had you been using it?
Like a year and a half, I believe.
Okay. And during that year and a half, did you stop using it at all?
No.
Why not?
I was addicted to it. The withdrawals were enough to keep me coming back.
Okay. So you liked using it?
I did, yes.
All right. So the reason you started using it again in 21 was what?
I thought that I was going to be able to enjoy it once and not use it again.
Why would you think that if you spent a year and a half addicted to it and not being able to stop using it?
It was bad thinking. I really, I don't have a good answer for that. I guess I enjoyed it, and I thought I would enjoy it again, but not become addicted to it like I was. I thought I knew how bad it had been before, that I wouldn't go back down that road, and it just kind of slowly ate me up.
I'm questioning whether you actually stopped using it in 16.
In prison?
Yeah.
I mean,
I found very few people able to just stop using heroin. I don't think I've seen anybody in over 10 and a half years who has just stopped using heroin because they decided to stop using heroin. So you're the guy. You're the one guy.
I mean, I was forced to stop when I went to prison.
Well, no, you weren't. I mean, you could get in prison, couldn't you?
I never tried. I don't know. I was.
You don't know?
Maybe if I looked for it, if I wanted to, I would. At the time, I was happy to not be going through the withdrawals and be addicted to it anymore.
Okay.
I was out on PRC after.
So then why, when you were using it starting in 21, why didn't you just, once you figured out you couldn't use it just once and get off it, why didn't you just stop again then? If you had the ability to stop in 16, why didn't you stop in 21?
Well, I was forced to stop in 16. In 21, there was just myself, and I was weak. I couldn't stop myself. Once I started, my life was unmanageable. I completely was owned by the drug.
Okay. Well, I find what you're telling me not believable. So if you did truly stop in 16, the reason you started in 21 is because you like getting high, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So why is that behavior, I mean, you're 33 years old, why is that behavior ever going to change? What have you been doing since you've been an adult?
I haven't been doing enough, that's for sure.
What have you been doing?
I've had a couple relationships, I've moved around, I really haven't done much anything, nothing that I'm proud of.
Your last job was door dashing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You don't seem motivated to do anything.
I really felt like the Ed Keating Center had changed my perspective and had given me a newfound motivation. And it's, been made clear to me by my family and friends that they're fed up with it. They're not going to be in my corner anymore if I continue down this road. If I don't change now, I don't think I have to change now.
Well, the problem with Ed Keating is they don't seem to like to communicate with our probation department. So they don't come across as very reliable. They don't like to tell us when there's problems with people. They don't like to tell us when people leave early. So it seems like it's a good fit for you, that you can just come and go as you please.
That's not my intention at all. I 100% plan to stay there.
What does your intention matter?
I understand it doesn't.
Right, it doesn't matter at all. Okay. So you were at a NeoCap once, right?
Yeah, back in
You
2014,
completed it,
15.
right?
Yes.
Okay. What was NeoCap? What'd you
What
do at
was it?
NeoCap?
It was a bunch of classes. It was a lot about changing your thinking.
Okay. And it didn't work.
I think at that time I wasn't done with heroin at that time.
What do you mean you weren't done with heroin?
Or I wasn't done smoking weed at that time. I got introduced to heroin after that, and I didn't use
Who introduced
critical
you to,
thinking.
Who introduced you to heroin?
And a girlfriend at the time.
Okay. So you knew heroin was like killing people, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you did it anyway
I did.
because some girl persuaded you to do it.
Yes.
How stupid is that?
It was very stupid.
What is it you're going to do with your life?
I got my commercial driver's license in 2024. I'd like to do that. I've spent a little bit of time driving a truck. That's something I enjoyed. It was kind of reminded me of the Marines, getting to travel, see the country. It had structure.
Why is somebody who drives on the roads, why would I want somebody like you to be driving a big tractor trailer down the road at 65 miles an hour?
Driving is something that I'm good at, and it keeps me occupied, keeps me busy, keeps my mind in the right place. It's something that I kind of fell in love with.
You probably can't smoke pot when you're driving as a commercial driver's license holder.
Can't use anything, no, Your Honor.
Right. So why would I want someone like you out there driving one of those things?
I
don't know whether you're, see, I'll go back to what I said before. I've never seen anybody just quit using heroin when there's the availability of the drug, and then 5 years later just start up again because they like it. That makes me think that if you complete whatever treatment you complete, just like you completed NeoCap, that you'll go back to it again because you like it.
When I got out of prison in 2019, I could have gone back to it for those 2 years, but
Why didn't you?
At that time, I didn't want to. I was happy to be free. I was enjoying my freedom. I was on PRC. I had a good life going at that point. And when I talked myself into it because I thought I was doing good and I could handle it.
Okay. So what's to stop you 4 years from now from talking yourself back into it, if you've done it before? If you found out, let's assume you quit doing all this shit for a period of years. Why wouldn't you just have the same mindset? Well, I can, I can smoke a joint, I can stop after one. It won't affect me.
Well, at the Ed Keating Center, I've never done IOP before. I've never been into AA. I have a sponsor, a home group. I've never done that kind of stuff before. I've really been working on building a support group and just putting in roadblocks so that way when my thinking does get that way, I have outlets, I have people to talk to, I have tools to use to not go back to using.
That was the point of NeoCap, wasn't it?
In NeoCap, I didn't meet other people who were like-minded like that. It was, you were there in that one building, there's no AA, they do try and teach you
How
tools
many
and
people
stuff
are
like
in
that.
Ed Keating?
There's about 90, 95.
And what percentage of those are actively using drugs?
I would guess maybe 5 people, if even.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a bad guess. What percentage do you think of people who go to AA or NA are active drug users?
I really couldn't tell you, Your Honor. If I had to make a guess, I would guess a minimum 5%. I don't know.
A lot more than that.
I guess I don't know. I don't want to say I found good groups. I think they're all good groups, but that wasn't the kind of people I was hanging around when I was in AA there.
Where do you live?
I live at the Ed Keating Center.
All right. You can't, I presume you're not going to live at the Ed Keating Center the rest of your life.
No, they do a 9-month program there. You can stay for longer, and they help you with housing after, which is absolutely something I need.
What kind of housing? Where? What do you mean, housing? What is that?
They have resources to help you find housing. There's areas I know that are local that they can help you get into. There's apartments, other sober living communities, stuff like that. Most of the people, it seems like, move out of there and move into some kind of sober living.
What else you want to tell me?
I just really feel like, I've struggled with addiction for a long time, and at the Ed Keating Center, I tried new things. I met new people. I don't know, my whole mindset about it has really changed. I don't want to lose the family and friends that I have, and I know if I don't get this right and continue down the path that I was on, that I'm going to end up back in prison or treatment or jail, and that's going to be the rest of my life, and that's not how I want to spend it. I feel like I had a lot of potential, and I've wasted a lot of it away. I just really would like an opportunity to get back on that path.
What do you mean you'd like the opportunity? What does that mean?
To go back to the Ed Keating Center and continue in the program with the people and places and everything I was doing there. It really seemed to have been working for me. Like I said, it really changed my mindset. I've got a great sponsor.
I mean, you strike me as having the mindset of somebody who's 16 years old and likes to party. That's how you strike me. At 33. That's the lifestyle you like.
That has been what I had been doing, yes. Like I said, I really feel like the Ed Keating Center, something happened to me there. Getting on mental health meds at Lutheran, going there, adjusting them, all the treatment, that 8 AA meetings a week, the IOP Monday through Friday, the groups, the everything at the house, the responsibility, the chores, all of it. It's I don't know. It's really changed my mindset on things. It's really what I need.
Ms. Cutts?
Thank you, Your Honor. In this case, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, an individual called the police because a car was stopped a little bit back from a light, appeared to have a person slumped over. They had concerns. By the time the police got there, defendant had woken up, resumed whatever, and began to drive. The police did follow. He didn't stop right away. When the police were with him, he did not inform them that he had heroin on him. They did not find it at that time. It was located when he was at the jail. So though the actual facts of the case are not necessarily more serious, it is concerning that in addition to not stopping for the police, that he did not tell them he had heroin on him that went into the jail. The heroin also included various fentanyl-related products in the substance as well. The concern for the state is the recidivism aspect. Defendant has a 2010 conviction for underage intoxication, and in 2014 criminal damaging. Again in 2014, he has convictions for burglary, which was a lesser included offense, 2 counts of felony 3s, and grand theft of firearms, felony 3, and breaking and entering, felony 5. He was given an opportunity on probation in that case. He did violate and went to prison. Went to prison in 2016. He was released in 2019. He was on post-release control until June of 2022. There were some disciplinary incidents within the prison, and it appears that he started using heroin again while he was on post-release control. When he was in our jail, he did have an issue with, he refused to attend the video arraignment, but other than that, it didn't appear that there had been issues.
He what?
He refused to go to his video arraignment when he was first taken into
Here?
our jail. Yes.
Why did you do that?
I was withdrawing really bad. I couldn't get out of the bed, Your Honor.
He hasn't responded favorably to previous sanctions. He did in 2012, 2013 have diversion. That case was dismissed. And obviously the probation violations and the incidents we've mentioned. He's been given an opportunity in treatment in NeoCap in 2015, and then he was in Ed Keating in June, and starting in June of 2025. He did have bond violations. I know there was some talk of him testing positive at Ed Keating. He continued to test positive through our probation department on July 25th and August 11th.
Yeah, but the levels were going down.
Whether that is true or not, I know this court is aware that levels don't always distinguish newer if there is no more new use. And he had been on bond since he was arrested on May 1st, so still testing positive as of August 11th. So the state does believe that prison is consistent. If the court wishes to do that, there is more than enough basis with his prior prison and his violation of probation. If the court is inclined to give him an opportunity, we do agree with a lot of what probation has indicated. Jail treatment program, NeoCap, I believe they had said Lake House or Concord Pines. At some point, if he wanted to return to Ed Keating, we'd ask for transitional day reporting just to make sure that housing is in place so he isn't released without a place to go. Mental health evaluation. Engage in 12-step programs with sponsored home group. No use of drugs or alcohol. Periodic screens come back negative. One doctor, one dentist, one pharmacy with releases for probation. Any medications he's prescribed are taken only as prescribed. When appropriate, between full-time work and or school. There's a mandatory driver's license suspension of at least 3 years, up to a lifetime suspension. That's for the forfeiture of the items. Then if he is given the opportunity, that he's made aware that if he does violate, he's looking at the possibility of up to 36 months in prison, as well as post-release control. And then that would be the state's recommendation at this time. The defendant does have 43 days credit.
If you started using heroin again by your statement in 2021, how is it that you made it through parole without being violated?
As far as I knew, my parole was over at that point.
Well, it expired June 6th of 20.
Reporting at that time, I was reporting for like a...
Reporting where?
I had to go to office
Okay. How often?
once a month. I had to talk with a PO, take a year,
For a year?
a little
And then you were on no for upwards of 2 years?
point. I think it will be. It must.
Very valuable, very at post-release control very well. Worked, right? You were able to control heroin on a daily basis.
Started, yes, Your Honor. And that's eventually.
Your success story of the parole system in Ohio. What mental health meds are you on?
Right now in the jail, the only thing they're giving me is Zoloft.
What were you on before you went to jail again?
I was taking naltrexone to help with the cravings, Zoloft, Remron, Atarax, and Doxepin.
And what are your diagnoses?
Insomnia, anxiety, and depression.
Who's prescribing that medication?
Last it was Rivian.
Okay. And what else have you done at Rivian besides
Rivian.
medication?
That's where I do IOP. I do that 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
What do you do mental health wise at Rivian?
I talk to a therapist there. I also talk to a nurse and a doctor. They adjust my medication as needed.
How often did you talk to the therapist?
We have scheduled meetings once every 2 weeks.
Okay. And what's the point of that?
Just to help get my thoughts out, to give me a place to vent and talk about things I need to talk about. It's just another outlet, another support stem.
Have you been on mental health medication in the past?
No, this is the first time I've gotten on it.
All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report, the drug and alcohol evaluation, the letters from Rivian and Keating. Considered all the provisions of 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. Listened to counsel and the defendant. I'm going to place you on community control for 5 years. You're going to serve 50 days in jail with credit for 43. You're going to go directly back upon the conclusion of that sentence to the Keating Center to complete that program and follow all the recommendations. Continue with Rivian, complete their program and follow all the recommendations. You're to have no drugs or alcohol with screens. You're to go to only one doctor and one dentist and one pharmacy for prescription medication. You're to take your medication as is prescribed. You're going to sign releases so probation can get your records. And it's incumbent upon you, when you sign those releases, to instruct Keating and Rivian that they are to get all information requested at any time to the probation office.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? Because they don't seem to want to do that unless it's convenient for them. So I'm telling you that if they don't do it, it's going to be your problem,
Understood, Your
not
Honor.
their problem. You're to go to at least 5 AA meetings a week and maintain a sponsor. You're going to get full employment, a valid driver's license, and pay the costs and supervision fees. Any other terms, Ms. Wehagen?
Upon release from the jail, is he to be transported by either probation and public defender's office, or is he to go directly back to Keating on his own?
Well, he can't do anything on his own because he'll stop at the BP on 185th and Neff and pick up a little heroin on the way. So is your office taking him there?
I can see if ultimately that can be arranged.
Your
with
office,
Aaron Mayer.
your office will take him there. If for some reason your office can't take him there, you're to inform probation and they'll take him there. He's not to go there on, you are going from the lobby of the jail to the Keating Center. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can't walk down to the store and get a pack of smokes or any dab or any of that shit. Got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand all the terms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any question about the terms?
No, Your Honor.
If you violate, the state will file a motion to terminate your community control. And if I find you violated, I'll determine that you weren't serious about any of this stuff. And I'll send you to prison for 36 months. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then when you get out, you might go through that gauntlet called post-release control for up to 2 years under the parole authority, who may or may not put conditions on you. If you violate their conditions, in theory, they could return you to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. If your violation is a new felony, you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for the violation, the maximum of which is the greater of 12 months or the time left under post-release control. These conditions apply to both count 1 and count 2. I'm going to suspend your license, mandatory license suspension for 3 years, effective May 1 of 25. Anything else, Ms. Cutts?
Yes, Your Honor. Is the community control concurrent on each count?
Yeah.
And I may have missed it. I don't know if you had ordered the forfeiture or not.
Items subject to forfeiture are forfeited. Anything else, Ms. Novotny?
No, Your Honor.